your Weather Authority forecast from meteorologist Amber Wheeler.
While the radar may be quiet right now, we are looking at another line of storms to move through overnight into early Sunday morning, and that's why we have our severe threat here. Level 2 out of 5 for our severe storms as they move in from the west. In terms of the hazards of these storms, gusty winds, frequent lightning, and isolated flooding will be the concerns. Heavy rain certainly will give that isolating flooding threat. The tornadic parameters here, they're there. That's something that we have to watch for. They're not high, but certainly something to watch for as those storms do move through, and the hail parameters not at all high, not concerned with that. Here's where we're at. We had rain all across the area for today. That has all but dried up. Some folks down towards the south still seeing a little bit of rain in our coastal regions, but this line of storms that will move through is still well off to our west. In fact, some of that energy is still in Texas. It is due to move across the state for tonight and then give us late night, really early Sunday morning storms. So here's what's going to happen. You can see these storms as they congeal into a line. This is an issue for western Louisiana. When you have them congeal like this, they are going to be a wind threat. We also could have maybe along this line some isolated tornadoes. You can get these brief spin up tornadoes when you get this line like this. Now, it is going to try to weaken upon approach once it gets towards us, but I think we are still going to be seeing some pretty strong storms make their way in around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and then push through for the next few hours. Behind that, you've still got some rain and storms behind that leading stronger edge, but this is going to push out probably around 9, 10 o'clock or so. And then once we get into the afternoon tomorrow, we'll start to see the sun. It will still continue to stay gusty. Now, in terms of how much rain we could see from this, now earlier today we saw anywhere between 1 to 2 inches. So on top of that, we're looking at an additional 1 to 2 inches, and some areas could see a lot more, could see maybe 2 to 3 inches with those heavy downpours. So street flooding is definitely going to be something we follow into early tomorrow morning. But through the day on Sunday, it looks like we'll get that afternoon sun, low 80s, and it will be breezy. So if you are headed to the Saints game for tomorrow, or you're doing anything outdoors, even though that rain is going to be exiting here by late morning, your wind gusts are going to take a bit before they start to die down. You've got a front that's going to move through later in the day, and so we're going to see these really strong wind gusts through the afternoon. Now, in terms of our next best chance for rain, it's not a high chance. Here are the next 5 days. Of course, this is why we're giving you the first alert for Sunday. We are looking at widespread rain for tomorrow morning, dry conditions Monday and Tuesday, and then another front moving through on Wednesday. This front is likely to be a pretty strong one as we get towards the second half of the work week. So it is our first strong cold front of the season. It will bring much cooler air, and it is going to bring very gusty winds on Wednesday. So here's what's happening. Here's our rain and storms we're having overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. There's that upper level low that it's associated with that is pushing off towards the east. Behind that, we're going to see a cold front race in from Canada. That's really important. The fact that it's coming from Canada, it is bringing in some chilly air, and it is going to make for some pretty cool mornings for us. Some areas seeing the 40s, possibly some low 40s on the North Shore, and we're looking for 60s for highs. So if you like those cooler temperatures, the crisper feel, we are getting that for Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. And when we see that front move through late Tuesday into Wednesday, I want you to see that more as a transition. We are flipping from basically late summer to nice and fall, mostly those 60s on Halloween, and then probably heading back to the 70s into next weekend. A check-in on the tropics. Hurricane Melissa over the last few minutes has now been upgraded to a Category 3. It is moving to the west at 3 miles per hour. It's got wind speeds of 115 miles per hour. And you can see the historical line here, what it's been doing. It raced into the Caribbean very fast, about 15, 20 miles per hour. It slowed down. There's no steering mechanism, so it's meandered here. And now it's a major Category 3, very close to Jamaica there. It is forecast to turn into a Category 5 before it makes its way somewhere around Jamaica for a landfall. So this is going to be a very dangerous situation, but notice that it's going to be moving to the west just south of Jamaica for a few days before it makes that northerly turn, and then at some point makes the landfall here. Kingston is right here in Jamaica. It certainly is in line to be in that right front quadrant. That is the most dangerous part of the storm. Unfortunately, it looks like all of the parts of the storm are also going to be very dangerous because it's carrying a lot of rain. This is the rainfall that they'll see even before landfall. Look at this. We're talking a couple of feet of rainfall. I've changed my key to give you higher numbers here, and we're talking feet of rain. A lot of this is coming from the upslope flow, what we call it, with the higher terrain in Jamaica. And then once that makes landfall, we'll continue to add to this. This is going to be catastrophic for the folks of Jamaica. I know that they're already trying to evacuate some folks who are extra particularly vulnerable to these circumstances, but I unfortunately think the entire island right now looks to be very heavily impacted by Melissa. Here's your forecast for the next week. This is what we're following. A big cool down. Of course, storms for tonight. They move out as we head towards the latter part of Sunday morning, and then once we get into Monday, we've got those 80s. We'll end the week in the 60s for Halloween with some sunshine. And if you're out on the water, we do have a small craft advisory through tomorrow morning. A lot lighter wind there Monday and into Tuesday. Stay with us. Sports is next.